So the reach is enormous, right? There are a lot of people on social media. We'll take a look at few statistics. So yes, you're right. The reach is enormous. You can come up with new products. Large part of the days are spent on it. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, right now also it's just been 15 minutes. It's just been 15 minutes since we started. At least one of you, at least one of you must have checked his or her WhatsApp or Facebook. Who wants to confess? At least one of you must have checked his or her WhatsApp or yeah, see? Yeah. So that is so keep your cell phones away and be with me. Okay? Right? So we spend a lot of time in the day on it. Right? So users and dependency in increasing measured operation is on some form of social media, faster spread, the most active and most engaging with enormous reach. Okay, direct connect with customers and have customer feedback upfront. That is very insightful. Thanks. Unlike any other platform. So typically, uh, let's take the example of a newspaper. Yeah, you cannot talk back to a newspaper, right? It's a one-way communication, or even television for that matter. It's a one-way communication, right? And one of the major things that we miss out on in traditional marketing is the customer feedback. In this case, because it's a two-way communication, when we post something on Facebook, immediately people start commenting on it. So it's a two-way interaction, and as a result, you have a ready-made customer feedback available for you, using which you can constructively work on changing your product or your service. That is also very, very important differentiating parameter. Quick reach, high reach, low cost. Yes, low cost is something that we have to look at. Uh, so, who was the TV guy here? Souvik, right? So, Souvik, what is the average cost of, let's say, if I want to run a 15-second advertisement on television? Just a random figure, huh? If you could throw just any number. I mean, it doesn't have to be any. You can pick any genre, and the point is not about to know the exact number. The point is to compare the costs. अच्छा ठीक है. Okay, so let's take 35,000. All right. Okay. So for 10 seconds, I have to spend 35,000. Nothing against television. I have nothing against traditional marketing, by the way. So I'm not saying that I'm not making those statements like traditional marketing is dead or whatever. I believe traditional marketing is still there. Okay, but digital has a few advantages which I'm trying to focus on right now. So if you see, this is the cost, 35K to 50K approximately. And what is the cost of creating one Facebook page? What is the cost of creating a Facebook page? Any idea? It's free. It's zero, yes. Okay. Obviously, the creation of Facebook page, even if it's zero, we need to invest some money in it to promote it, etc., etc. That's a different issue. But if you overall compare the costs, it's a low cost. It's a low cost medium, especially suited for startups, who really don't have the bandwidth or who don't have the power to invest in, heavy budget advertisements. This is very, very suitable for them, right? So that's why I wanted to touch upon cost. I might have missed out on a few these things, uh, right? So I think, yeah, even though I missed out on a few suggestions or a few answers, to summarize, we can simply say that analytics are available. I don't think we discussed analytics. So detailed analytics are available on all the social or all on the digital marketing platforms. Right, we get to see how many people did the post or did the ad reach out to, how many Okay, I'll just complete this point first. How many clicked on the ad, etc. So detailed analytics are given. Okay. If my voice is loud and clear, please give me a yes. Okay. Then the problem has to be at your end. Paresh, can you just check at your end, or just if it's just switch turn off any applications which might be consuming your internet bandwidth, maybe. Could be because of the speed of the internet. Okay, so yeah, uh, so we analytics are there, then customer feedback is there, like we discussed. Then market research. Earlier we used to depend on those market. I mean, we still do. We depend on those survey forms, or when I was a kid, I remember filling out those market research printed forms, right? But now obviously things have changed. Okay, we have ready-made data available to us on Facebook or on Twitter or on LinkedIn, which we can process and through which we can draw a market research for ourselves. So we get to know a few insights through that data as well. So that is one added feature. Then vast reach is there. Then very detailed targeting is there. When we study Facebook ads or any other ads for that matter, you'll understand the power of targeting. You can literally target based on any random feature. So precise targeting options are available for businesses to reach to the right target audience. Right, so these are a few features. Obviously, we'll be exploring a few, and this list of answers I'm sure will increase as we go ahead. Okay, so let's start. So like I said, social networking accounts for 28% of all media time spent online. So it's a big chunk of time that we spend online. Whenever we are getting, let's say, bored in a lecture like this, we check out our phone. Whenever we go to a coffee shop, waiting for a friend, we check out our phone. We are whatever we are doing, any kind of an activity which is not really fulfilling, we take out our phone and start looking at it. So the time that we spend on social media is pretty high, 28%. Okay, now just an introduction to social media platforms. Uh, if you take a look at this graph, it is an outdated graph. It's showing figures only till 2013, but there's a reason why I have kept this graph. The reason is to show you how different platforms have grown over the years. So just give you a few seconds to look at it. Okay, now, firstly, any guesses why Google Plus is not starting at 0 while all others are starting at 0? No, not Orkut. What is the reason? Google Plus, Gmail. Yes, yes, yes. So Gmail, whenever you have a Gmail account, by default you have a Google Plus account. So that was the advantage that Google Plus had. However, unfortunately, they could not really capitalize on the market and overthrow Facebook like they were planning to. Right? If you take a look at Facebook, okay, Facebook is probably the king of all social media platforms as far as the user base is concerned. Okay, it is the most popular platform, and that is why most of the businesses, even B2B businesses, even serious businesses, prefer to have their marketing rolling on Facebook. Okay, in this graph, if you can say, Twitter is at number 2, but now that has changed. Number 3 in this graph is Instagram. So Instagram has taken over Twitter, right? So Instagram has now more active users than Twitter. Okay, and the last is Pinterest. Okay, what do you know about Instagram and Pinterest, by the way? What do you know about Instagram and Pinterest? Any answers would do. You can post pics. Okay, it's like a okay bookmark links. Okay, Instagram uses the visualized content. It's a pure photo sharing way. Okay, okay, okay. So I think we can all agree that both of these are what image based platforms or visual platforms. Then what is the difference between Instagram and Pinterest? You guys did point it out to an extent in these answers, but if you can elaborate on the difference between Pinterest and Instagram. Community, okay, in what? Pinterest is more shared interests. Yes. So Pinterest stands for pinning your interest. Yes. So that's right. It's for your hobbies. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for something very fundamental. Uh, very basic. Yes. So we follow users' interest online. Okay. Okay. I'll rephrase the question. Which is the device that we use for Instagram and which is the device that we use for Pinterest usually? Is there a difference between the two devices? Mobile for Instagram. Right? So what does that mean? In other words, Instagram is a real-time platform. You click a photo, you add a filter, you add a few hashtags, and boom, your post is online. It's a real-time platform. Pinterest, on the other hand, is not really a real-time platform, although they have a mobile application. Okay, Pinterest is about pinning your interest. It's like subscribing to things that interest you. The majority of people on Pinterest are females from the United States, right? So you will find a lot of engagement on Pinterest, and it's like I said, it's usually people who just want to search, they just want to subscribe themselves to uh, different topics of their interest. Okay, and then obviously we'll be studying Twitter as well. Do you know anything about Twitter for now? What can aptly, which sentence can aptly describe Twitter? If you can explain a sentence. Yeah, it's basically a 140 character medium. Yes, it's a microblog. Yes, yes. So that's about Twitter. It's an extremely transparent platform. Why? Because all the content is available to, unlike Facebook or unlike other platforms like LinkedIn, etc. You have access to each and every tweet made by every person unless they have a protected account. Okay. Uh, and LinkedIn, do you know anything about LinkedIn? It's not here, but do you have any idea about what LinkedIn is? Just an introductory idea. B2B, okay. It's a professional network. Yes, LinkedIn is a professional network. So one example that Harshita. So okay, fundamentally, I can't stress how important this next sentence is. We need to understand that each social media platform is different in culture, different in the way it operates, different kinds of people, different kinds of transparency, different ways of expressing content, etc. Okay. So if you have a strategy of publishing the same content on every social media as you go, then it's probably not a good strategy. We need to understand the nitty-gritties of each platform and then shape our strategy in that way. All right. So one example that Harshita gives me, or Harshita gives to her batches, which I have stolen from her, is this. Suppose, uh, suppose you decide to go to a trip. Okay. Which social media platform do you use to do your research? Which social media platform do you use to do your research? Facebook, are you sure? No, which social media platform? Which is Pinterest, yes. Pinterest is the answer because Pinterest will have a lot of content on that place. You can get to see all the photos of that place, all the good spots in that place, etc., etc. Right? So Pinterest is that one visual platform which will help you do the research. So Pinterest, another word for subscribing to your interest is researching also. Okay. Then when you decide to go for a trip, you check in. Which platform do you check in at? That you're traveling from this, so it's Facebook, right? You're traveling from this airport to that airport, etc. Then you reach the place and you love the place, and then you click a few photos. Where do you upload them? Instagram, yes, because it's real time. And ultimately, if you're really pissed with the hotel owner and you have to complain about the hotel owner, which platform do you use? Yeah, you can use Facebook as well, but I wanted to give Twitter also a bit of spotlight. That's why I'm saying Twitter. Okay, so these are the ways in which these platforms are differentiated. Okay, so anyway, uh, a couple of slides on statistics. So in 2015, the social media ad spend was USD 24 billion, which is 16% of all the digital ad spends. Now this number is increasing. Earlier social media was always considered as a luxury and not a necessity. Social media was always linked to branding. It was thought that social media will not get you any business. But now obviously things have started changing. Why? Because now you can connect your objectives with social media, or you can suppose you can directly connect your social media objectives with your business objectives. So they are not intangible objectives that you're trying to achieve, right? And hence people are now taking this very, very seriously. So the ad spend for 2015 was 24 billion USD. In 2016, it's going to be around 30 billion, I believe, 30, and the projected for 2017 is 35 billion. So these are big, big numbers. All right. Now, mm, global digital snapshot gives you these figures. All right. So this is, I believe, a 2016 January research. All right. So these are the global digital snapshot. So the total global population is 7.395 billion. Okay. The internet users are 3.4 billion. Active social media users are 2.3 billion. Unique mobile users are 3.7 billion, and active mobile social users are 1.968 billion. Okay, so these are big numbers. Obviously, the objective of this slide is not to by heart these numbers, but just to keep that perspective in place that social media is a market which has a vast number of people on it. All right, this is global thing. And then as far as social media figures are concerned, okay, so social media figures, total number of active social media users are 2.31 billion. Active social users as a percentage of total population is 31%. Okay, total number of social users accessing mobile is 1.97 billion, and active mobile social users as a percentage of the total population is 27%. So now we all know mobile is one device which is largely used to access social media, and that also needs to be taken into consideration in our marketing efforts. All right. One sec. Okay, I'll cover the next slide before. Okay. Now the 3 C's of social media. Okay. Oh, I think you saw all the C's, so yeah, I've lost all the suspense. Anyway, uh, the first C is creativity. Okay, and I will be referring to these C's as we go ahead, so just be attentive here. The first C is creativity, and this has become particularly important now because there is so much of competition. There is tremendous competition now, because of which this C has become extremely important, because otherwise, if your brand is not creative, it just can't stand out from the other social media brands. There is so much of noise on social media. Every day, thousands and thousands of pages are created, thousands and millions of posts must be published. So how do you differentiate between yourself and the competitors? Is through creativity. So creativity stands not only for those creative campaigns. So what can be an example of a creative campaign? Do you remember the ice bucket challenge? Do you guys remember the ice bucket challenge by any chance? Yeah. So that was an example of a very creative campaign. It was not even a social media campaign per se. It was actually a, a campaign which went viral on social media, because the action of the campaign, the action of putting the ice bucket on your head was done physically, right? But it was replicated on social media. So that's an example of a creative campaign. But like I said, creativity does not just pertain to those elaborate or big campaigns. It also pertains to smaller things. Like for example, how are you designing your creatives, your graphics? That also shows your creativity. Or how are you designing or how are you responding to people? Are you being nice to when it comes to responding to people? Are you being creative? That also is shown, right? And yeah, so everything that lies in between these also comes in creativity. Okay, we will obviously take practical examples of this as we go ahead. For now, we need to note that creativity is something which is extremely essential. The second is content. Okay, why content? Because how can you express creativity? You can express creativity through content. Okay, if I have to ask you right now, what are your favorite Indian social media brands? Indian favorite, I mean, brands in India which are really popular on social media. What would your answer be? Favorite brands? CCD, okay. CCD have a unique strategy, yes. Okay. No other answers? Your Story, Amazon, Domino's, okay. Okay. Make My Trip, okay. So I'll do my favorites. My favorites are Amul, uh, then Zomato. I love Zomato. Uh, yeah, I think these are my two favorite brands. Yeah. So if you just observe the common thread between all of the successful brands on social media, you will see that the reason that they are doing well is because they have cracked this second C, which is content. They have really found out that niche that they can cater to, and the content that they can create to cater to that niche. Right? Amul, for that matter, such a brilliant content strategy, and they have been using it for some time, and they will continue to use it for a long time to come, and they're doing extremely well. It's a loved brand simply because the content has been extremely good, right? So content is one aspect which still I believe is not really an unexplored territory, I think, because not many brands put enough effort on this. Okay, so we need to have an elaborate content strategy in place if we want to succeed on social media. Now, because of the competition, the days are gone where you could just post an update and you could get the results. No, now you have to post something which is extraordinary to get the desired results, right? Yes, even Chumbak for that matter, yes. Okay, and the last C, which is kind of surprising, but probably the most essential, is the common sense. Why? Because your brand can have creativity, your brand can have excellent content skills, your brand can have, yeah, so basically you can be creative and you can have good content writing skills, but if you don't have anything that can keep you in check, or if you just simply lack the common sense as to how to leverage the social media platform or how to respond to people during sensitive issues, right? Then your brand will struggle. You need to have, so creativity and content are like, artists. I like to call them artists. And common sense is more of a scientist. A scientist is someone who keeps these artists in check. These artists are overflowing with creativity and content and art, but that's fine. But you also need to know how to leverage that, right? So these are the three C's of social media. Okay, and now we can move to Facebook. But before that, if you have any questions, we can have the question answer now. I know it's been just a few slides, but if you have any questions so far, don't hesitate to ask. Uh, so the ones that I follow are, I like Oreo. I think Oreo is a really good brand on social media. I love Oreo, uh, which is global. I also love Lego. Okay, then I have explored a few. Uh, I might be judged for this, but really like this brand Mothercare UK. The reason I like it is because I was working for a similar brand in India, and I used to look up to them for inspiration. So it actually depends on the niche that you want to look into. So Mothercare UK was one brand that I used to really love, the way they interacted with the audience, right? So okay, so Srikant says Zomato is also a global brand. He's proud about it, so yes. Okay, yeah. So you have a lot of these. Okay, blogging sites on social media. Okay, it's just one request. I'll just ask you to hold on to miscellaneous questions towards the end, please. But I'm anyway going to answer this. So John Loomer, social media insights, social media examiner, Mashable, digital defined, lighthouse insights. So you can explore these blogs to read about social media. So I wouldn't want to comment on the exact number. What I could give to you, however, is the link of that report. That report is like a 50-60 slide report where even details of one this thing is would sorry, what was I saying? So even for every country there is a this thing. There's an elaborate description, so you can take a look at that. Okay, I am not sure how much in India, but I'm sure it's a big chunk considering our population. You can explore this report during your free time. Okay, so can I move to Facebook marketing? Just give me a yes. Okay, great. So now, like I said, uh, Facebook is probably the king of all social media platforms as far as the registered number users, etc., is concerned. Okay. Also, you will notice that Facebook is the most evolved platform in terms of the user interface is concerned, in terms of the analytics, or in terms of the advertisements, etc. And because of which we are going to spend sufficient time on Facebook. The first two sessions, in fact, so the session that ends that we have today, so from this point onwards till the end of today's session and plus the next session, both of them will be completely dedicated towards Facebook. So we'll be studying Facebook in detail. You'll also realize that a lot of concepts are repeated. So for example, when you study Facebook, Twitter will be slightly easier for us. Why? Because most of the concepts are carried forward, right? So Facebook will be our point of focus going forward. So again a few statistics. Uh, so active accounts accessing our desktop or laptop computers is 748 million, which is 50% of the total population. Active accounts via smartphones is 1259 million. Okay. Then active accounts accessing, oops, sorry. Yeah. Active accounts accessing via feature phones is 38 million, which is 2% of the total population, and active accounts accessing via tablets is 221 million, which is 15%. Okay, again, these are all not my favorite slides as well. Numbers are just numbers, but it's good to know them. Yeah, that's why I have included them. Then, so in my sessions, I have a lot of these video case studies. All right, so it's good to know what people are up to, what big brands are doing, so that we can take inspiration from them, right? So I have a lot of video case studies in between. So typically what I do is that I ping you the link on chat and I tell you to watch this video on YouTube, and then when you're done watching the video, just ping me that you're done in the chat window so that we can move ahead. Okay, I'll repeat, just watch this video on YouTube and ping me when you're done.
KFC is the #1 restaurant brand on social media. Our digital mantras to this success were: number 1, co-creation. We advocated publishing user-generated content with apps like Radio KFC RJ Hunt, which received over 3,000 entries from 30 Indian cities, and Design Your Own Bucket, which received over 5,500 bucket entries. We've even reposted our fans' Sachin Tendulkar bucket design on the day the Indian sports legend announced his retirement. Number 2, feedback fanatics. The secret of a great relationship is listening. We listened to our customers and ensured that every feedback was addressed. Number 3, innovative and interactive campaigns. With cutting-edge technology and a bunch of wacky, ingenious ideas, we created unique experiences for our customers with campaigns like Caricature, the fun and quirky way to bring out the Indian inside the fairly westernized youth of today. Over 17,000 caricatures were made by our fans. And our augmented reality WOW app. A quick scan on any Indian currency note and behold the WOW menu options. The app received over 35,000 downloads and became #1 on the iTunes App Store in the food and drinks category. As a result of these, we were featured as one of the top 5 socially devoted brands on Social Bakers. The overall positive sentiment of our Facebook page grew to 93.8%. Our engagement rates are thrice the sector average. Unmetrics report crowned us the true social media king of QSRs in India. With 5 million fans and counting, we are among the top 5 fastest growing social media brands in the country. And boy, does it feel so good.
Okay, so that was a kind of um, an overall social media strategy that they have implemented so far. Okay, I'll wait for a few seconds for Srikant to finish it. Okay, so anyway, this is, even if you feel that how they did this is not known to us, it's cool. Don't worry about it. We'll figure out things as we go ahead. The point was just to show you the possibilities, right? So that was a campaign in which they had incorporated all of their social media strategies, right? So now that was more of an overview of social media, kind of a case study. As we go ahead, things will be more specific, obviously. All right. So now we actually jump into the platform and explore the platform in detail. So this is probably the most important exercise of today's session, exploring Facebook. Okay, here I can take questions simultaneously if you have any. So if you have any questions, you can about that particular concept which is being explained, I can address them in real time. Okay. So there are 3 ways in which you can exist on Facebook. One is a profile, one is a page, and one is a group. Okay, so firstly, let me ask you, Is there anyone who's not there on Facebook? Okay, it's okay. We won't judge even if you say yes. Okay, so everyone is there on Facebook. Okay, who all are not there on Twitter, or who all are not so active on Twitter? Okay, okay. So those who are not there on Twitter, I'll request them to create Twitter accounts after today's session, because we are going to need uh, your Twitter account to be active for the third session, where we'll be having a live tweeting exercise. Right? So just create an account and also keep it active. So, follow a few people, maybe do 3-4 tweets, right? Do that. Okay, so Twitter is done. Is there anyone who's not on LinkedIn by any chance? One second, Paresh. Who's not there on LinkedIn? Okay, everyone's there. Nice. Insta and Pinterest. So these are not compulsory, but it's good to have these accounts just to explore them. All right. So if you have these, do that, because the best way to learn a social media platform is to actually use it. Okay. So Insta, you can definitely start right away. It's just an application. Pinterest, you can explore. Okay. And then there are Orkut. Yeah, it was a joke. Orkut does not exist anymore. Yes. People were like stunned for a second. अरे क्या बोल रहा है ये? Anyway, uh, cool. So anyway, uh, as far as Facebook is, going back to Facebook, so we can exist on Facebook in 3 different ways. Now, because all of you are on Facebook, I believe all of us know what a Facebook profile is. Do I need to explain you all what a Facebook profile is? No, right? Because everyone knows what a Facebook profile is. The interface that we use is the Facebook profile. Paresh, you had a question, I believe. Is it related to this? If it is, then you can ask. I forgot about it. Yeah, please go ahead. So you can use that also. It's fine. Okay. There's more to the question. Okay. No, it's you can use that. It's okay to have a new account. Oh, sorry, old account. You can continue using that. All right. Okay. So profile is done. Now the next is page and a group. Okay. So now let's start with group. As far as group is concerned, what do you think is a Facebook group? In very crude words, you can explain what is a Facebook group. Or what is a group? Like-minded people. Okay. Common interests. Basically, it's more of like-minded people, group of users here. Basically, you have a common interest. So let's say people in India want to have a group on, let's say, yoga for that matter. Okay, so all the people who are interested in yoga, who have the same agenda, will be on the group. Okay, now in a way you can compare the group, a Facebook group, to a WhatsApp group. Why? Because even a WhatsApp group is a group of people where people can talk to each other. Okay, what do you think is the difference between a page and a group then? That's correct, Aisha. Yes. Page is not restricted, page is controlled. Can you elaborate on these answers, please? Come on, you guys know the answer. I want everyone's participation here. Please, 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 let's keep this interactive and not boring where I'm talking and you are listening. Group has only access for members, not necessarily Chaitanya. Group can be of three types: public, private, and secret. When it's a public group, it can be accessed by anyone. So yeah, page is also similar but represents a specific organization field. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So enjoy that.